Parmenides, the sage of being and the seeker of truth YouTube intro. What if everything you thought you knew about reality was wrong? What if the world around you, what you see, touch, and hear isn't what it seems? Over 2,500 years ago, a philosopher named Parmenides proposed a radically different view of the universe that still shapes our understanding of existence today. Let's dive into Parmenides' world and explore how his thoughts on reality continue to influence philosophy. Chapter 1. The Journey of a Truth Seeker in the ancient city of Elea, located in what is now modern-day Italy. A boy named Parmenides was born around 515 BCE. Elea was a place steeped in intellectual tradition, and it became the birthplace of some of the greatest minds in philosophy, including Parmenides. From a young age, Parmenides was not content to accept the world at face value. While many people around him took the world of change, motion, and sensory experience as undeniable truths, Parmenides began to question the very nature of reality. He noticed that everything in the world seemed to change. Plants grew and withered. People were born and died. The seasons shifted. But in the midst of all this change, Parmenides felt an intuitive pull. Could the world of change be an illusion? This curiosity led him on a metaphysical journey that would forever change the way humanity viewed existence. It is said that Parmenides had a divine vision where he was guided by goddesses through the pathways of knowledge. In this vision, he was shown two ways to approach reality: the path of truth and the path of opinion. The goddess revealed to him that only one of these paths could lead to the true understanding of the universe, the path of truth. From this revelation, Parmenides formulated one of the most radical and influential ideas in the history of philosophy. Being is, and non-being is not. Chapter 2. The unchanging nature of being. Doctrine of being. At the core of Parmenides' philosophy lies his conception of being. According to him, only being truly exists. Everything that exists must be a part of this unchanging, eternal being. There is no room for non-being or nothingness in Parmenides' view of the world. If something exists, it must be a part of the one indivisible reality of being. This idea is summed up by one of Parmenides' most famous sayings: "What is, is. What is not, is not." For Parmenides, the act of being is inseparable from existence. Anything that truly exists must have the attribute of being. If something cannot be said to be, then it cannot be said to exist at all. This concept eliminates the possibility of voids, gaps, or anything that does not participate in being. In other words, Parmenides rejected the idea that things could come into being from nothing or be destroyed into nothing. There is no creation or destruction in the universe, only transformation within the framework of being. Being is one, unchanging, and eternal. One of the most important aspects of Parmenides' idea of being is that it is eternal, indivisible, and unchanging. For him, being cannot change or move, because that would imply it is becoming something else, thus introducing the concept of non-being, which, as we have already seen, is impossible in Parmenides' framework. According to Parmenides, change is an illusion, a trick of the senses. Our perception of the world tells us that things are constantly changing, but this is a false belief. For instance, when a tree grows, we perceive change, but according to Parmenides, the tree is not actually changing. It is simply participating in being, and what is truly real about the tree is its eternal, unchanging essence of being. That which is ungenerated and imperishable. Chapter 3. The illusion of change and perception. The way of opinion vs. the way of truth. In his famous poem on nature, Parmenides presents two paths: the way of truth and the way of opinion. The way of truth represents the path of reason and rationality, which leads to the understanding that only being exists, and that being is unchanging, indivisible, and eternal. The way of opinion, on the other hand, represents the sensory world. The world of everyday experience, where things appear to change and move. Parmenides acknowledges that the way of opinion seems to describe a world that is constantly changing. People are born, die, and everything around us seems to be in flux. However, he insists that the sensory world is deceptive. Our senses trick us into believing that things are changing, but in truth, nothing ever changes. The eye sees what it wishes, but the mind knows what is true. To explain this, Parmenides presents an analogy. Imagine an object that moves in space. From our sensory experience, we observe that the object has traveled from one point to another. However, for Parmenides, the true reality of the object is not its journey from one place to another, but its eternal existence as part of being. The idea of movement is A. Chapter 5. Parmenides' influence on philosophy. Parmenides' philosophy had a profound impact on later thinkers. While some ancient philosophers disagreed with his radical rejection of change in time, they still wrestled with the implications of his ideas. Plato, for instance, admired Parmenides and his commitment to reason. In his dialogues, particularly in the Parmenides, Plato explored the tension between the world of eternal, unchanging forms and the world of sensory experience. Aristotle criticized Parmenides, but he acknowledged that Parmenides' ideas about being laid the groundwork for later metaphysical discussions. Heidegger in the 20th century was deeply influenced by Parmenides, particularly in his exploration of being as a central concern in philosophy. Modern physics also resonates with Parmenides' ideas in certain ways, particularly in the quest to understand the nature of time and change. Quantum mechanics and theories of relativity challenge our classical views of time, offering a new perspective on the unchanging nature of the universe. Parmenides' philosophy challenges everything we think we know about reality. His radical ideas about being, time, and change have influenced countless philosophers throughout history, and they continue to spark debates today. So, what do you think? Is reality truly unchanging, or are we simply deceived by our senses? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.